Hello everyone. My name is Daria and I'm a developer relations engineer at Subsquid. And today we will check out a very exciting new addition to the Subsquid ecosystem. Subsquid is adding Solana support, so today we will check out how to index Solana using the Squid SDK. In this demo we will go over how to index Orca exchange with the Squid SDK. So this is our demo Solana project open in Xcode. And as you can see, we also have the schema GraphQL file, just like we had in EVM and Substrate templates, and it has an exchange entity, and that should look very familiar to you if you used the Squid SDK before, so nothing particularly new here. Next, we have the contract ABI that we need to use to decode the data. However, contracts are somewhat different on Solana compared to Ethereum, so instead of functions, they have instructions. And when we will decode the data, we will also see some differences. However, just like in the AVM compatible project, we can use SQG typegen to generate the types from the ABI and use it to decode the data. So next, let's look at the core of the project, which is the processor.typescript file. Here we have a Solana batch processor, which connects to a gateway, which in this case is the Solana gateway on the Subsquid network. Next, we set the block range and add instructions. Next, we have a program ID, which is similar to an address in the EVM compatible project. So if we go to the definition of the program ID, we can see that it is a string here. And if we go to Solana Block Explorer, we can look it up by this address. Next, we specify which instruction we want. In this case, it is a swap instruction. So if we go to definition here, we can see how our swap instruction looks and which information we can get from it. Next, we set the fields. So we specify here that we want inner instructions as well, transaction, token balances, and is committed attribute. Next, we initialize our processor. And since in this case we are indexing exchanges, we create the exchange entity, just like in the EVM and Substrate projects, when we import the entity created in our GraphQL file. Next, we go through each block and each instruction in the block and verify that the program ID is the desired program ID and that the instruction is in fact a swap instruction. After this, we can create the exchange entity, and for the ID we use the instruction ID. For slot, we use the block.header.slot attribute, which is a number in this case. And then to get the transaction, we use the getTransaction function from the new Solana processor. And for the timestamp, we add the date. In Solana, instructions can have inner instructions. So next, we decode the inner instructions of the swap instruction. So first, we check the length of the inner instructions. And if it is equal to 2, then we can decode the transfer instruction. And we also decode it using the functionality provided by the Solana processor. After we have decoded the inner instructions, we can use the transfer source and transfer destination to look up the source balance and destination balance after the swap. And next, we can find the 2 types of tokens that are being exchanged. So we do this from the source balance by the mint attribute, and we use Azure to make sure that our data is sound. And after this, we are able to add the from token to our entity, as well as the source address and the amount. And the same goes for the second token. So we have the token type here, owner, and the amount of the second token that is being received. We also push the exchange entity into the array of our exchanges. And finally, we insert the batch of exchanges into our database. So the workflow is pretty much the same as in the EVM project, except for the different decoding process. And in order to improve your understanding of how to decode Solana data, I suggest reading this article, and I will link it below in the video so that when you start your own project with the Solana processor, it is easier for you to code data from other contracts and create your own Solana indexer. And this is it for this demo. It is very exciting for us to finally be able to add Solana support, since it's a very data-heavy network, and we believe that it will make development process for a lot of Solana developers much easier and really improve the developer experience. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to leave your comments below this video. Thank you for watching this demo and see you soon.